And we are live on a Tuesday night. That Damn Baseball Show is back at you. Me, Jim here, BALLCAP Sports, and the boys Nick and Adam from Blue Jays today. We're talking Yankees. We're talking Phillies. We're talking Bryce Harper. We've got some injuries to go over. We've got some games still going on right now. We've got some thoughts on April. What did we learn? Boys, how are you tonight?
Doing good, Jim. You know, it's always good to talk baseball. I mean, I know that you are just watching those Blue Jays right now. We were watching those Blue Jays. What a great fifth inning comeback until it wasn't a comeback anymore. But it's still tied. It could be anyone's game. So you might see some reactions throughout this live stream right now.
Yeah,
just reacting to the score changes, probably.
Yep, this is going to be sort of we have our pre-planned content talking points, and we're also going to be reacting to things as they're happening in real time. Hoping that maybe Toronto can get something going. Cleveland's trying to get something going against New York. There's a lot happening right now. Kikuchi, though, kind of a bummer tonight, right? That nice little run, 4-0, 5 solid starts. This is his first clunker. Any thoughts on Kikuchi and how tonight went?
Listen, Jim, the first, when we were off camera, guys, just to fill you guys in, the word that Jim used when describing these Boston Red Sox, and I echo this term, I think this is the perfect adjective to talk about these guys, is tough. They're not a walk in a park. You know, they're never going to be. This is a lineup that when you look at it, they can hit. Kikuchi didn't have his best stuff today, but we also saw a bunch of times these guys just slamming balls, like full-on
hard hit balls,
hit balls that are outside the zone and getting extra base hits on those. You know what I mean? So it's like it wasn't all Yusei Kikuchi here. I got to give credit where credit is due. Boston, you guys are better than I expected on offense, and hell, Yoshida. What the dude? Yeah. That is a guy right there, man. So honestly, like Boston, like good game. I hope that we win, but GG regardless of what happens.
Yeah, they just look at their lineup, man. They've got incredible depth. That's what it is. Like the depth is good, and they're all kind of clicking right now. So you know, and obviously Devers has always been amazing. And then a breakout. He didn't start today, but Jared Duran, where'd that guy come? Like this guy started to break out this year. So yeah, no, they've got the offense. It's the pitching that we need to capitalize on. And yeah, 6 runs we capitalized, but now our offense got to play against their offense. It's just offense versus offense today in the slugfest.
Yeah, the Yoshida thing, a lot of, and me included, when the deal first went down, the talk was that they overpaid, and it does not look like they overpaid whatsoever. It actually looks like a smart baseball move. So in the end, this Boston Red Sox offseason is starting to look even better with the Masataka Yoshida. The Kikuchi thing, I really, I was sort of looking him up today while I did some prep for some of my surprises from the month of April. And I noticed with him, he's still, that fastball's still getting hit. It is all about, and this is what he wasn't doing last year, that slider and getting you to chase out of the zone. The chase rate was garbage last year. It's been really good this year. And today, and one of the other elements last year was that slider, he was leaving it out over the plate. So he was either missing his spots or that slider was just coming in. There were too many negative elements to Kikuchi last year that he's not doing this year, other than that fastball still getting hit. Today, though, few spots, just couldn't dance around this Red Sox lineup enough.
Yeah. The one positive is, if you were to take a positive from it, from like a Yusei Kikuchi developmental standpoint, is no walks.
Yeah.
He wasn't hurting himself, right?
Yeah.
So he's getting hit hard.
And that is a positive for sure, because we saw last year that was a big Achilles heel for Yusei Kikuchi. Was free pass. Then they annihilate him, and then you got 4 runs coming in. So at least the fact that he is putting it in the zone and he's getting hit that way, I will take that over the alternative. Dude, you spoke about the Boston Red Sox offseason. I do want to get back to this game, hopefully when more news develops about it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of criticism about the Boston Red Sox offseason. That is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
The people who got a bunch of positive vibes towards them, a bunch of positive energies, a bunch of A draft grades, all this stuff was the New York Yankees. And now it's looking like they might not have done enough considering how many goddamn injuries are on that team and where they're at in the standings and everything that is going on with their line. Just everything. Talk to me about it, Jim.
Well, this team specifically should say specifically, especially over the last week, has just gone into the tank. They can't hit. Garrett Cole is amazing.
Yeah.
Domingo Germán has been out there, has had some nice starts. They need Carlos Rodon. They miss Luis Severino. I think that, but ultimately the problem right now is that they can't hit with the guys that they have. You've got Stanton is missing, Judge is missing, and that's where a lot of your power is going to come from. And that's what this team has been the last couple of years, is a power team. And you lose two of the key power outlets, and no surprise, this is going to struggle. I mean, you're at the point where Boone is taking heat. Boone always takes heat. But you've got so many things that just seem to be spiraling out of control for the Yankees. Now, good for the New York Yankees. As of recording, things could always change. They are winning. It's the top of the ninth. They are up 4-2. They were down 2-0 at one point in this game. And then as soon as Cole comes out, the bats come alive. Volpe hit a home run into the short right porch. So I think Calhoun hit one into the porch as well. So the bats came alive after Cole exited the game. But it's before this and up until that point, the bats have just fallen silent. I did my power rankings yesterday. The Yankees, if memory serves me correct, had the worst OPS over the last week. They only hit 4 home runs last week. Aaron Judge only missed 3 games, I believe it was, last week. So you can't just blame it on, well, Aaron Judge is injured. The team just is sort of going through a problem. And I worry for the Yankees' sake. What does this mean long term? When we're talking about the depth, needing the depth as the season goes on, and then the holes that this team had in the postseason that were exposed by the Houston Astros, I worry offensively they're still there and it could kill them.
Yeah, the offense is definitely concerning. Like, again, especially like everything you're saying, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, even Josh Donaldson. He's not even there. I mean, he's a guy somewhat of a shell for himself. But the big thing that they got to do, and you're right, their depth needs to come up and be clutch. Because, like, this isn't the first time a Yankees team has been riddled with injuries. I mean, you go back to 2019, and they were disgustingly riddled with injuries. But what do? They still managed to make it work. Their depth still came up, and they still managed to win ball games to be a winning team. So the Yankees, I'm not concerned at all, really. Like, they're going to get healthy. Aaron Judge is going to be back. Like, he actually, like, was preparing himself to be on the IL, apparently. So he already knew this was happening. He's going to be back. He's going to be fine. But you're going to need depth to step up, whether it be with rookies, whether it be some like one-off guys. I mean, they're going to do the Yankee way. If they don't have it internally, they're going to go out externally at the trade deadline. They're going to make it happen. There's no way they're going to concede this season and just give up. Even though they're fifth right now, this means nothing in the early going. I think they're going to be fine one way or another.
This team needs to weather the storm. They need to weather the storm right now. There is a tornado, hurricane, tsunami, whatever you want. It is happening right now in the Bronx. They need to weather that storm and do whatever they can to stay as close to 500 as possible. That should be the goal right now. You stay 500. You try your best to just claw out W's however you possibly can. Until you get your elites back, until Rodon comes back, until Judge comes back and Stanton comes back. And that is when you pick it up. What they cannot have happen is they cannot have themselves fall behind while the Rays and the Red Sox and the Orioles and the Blue Jays are all eating up W's. They cannot fall behind drastically. That's my 2 cents on that situation. And before we move on, we just got a comment right now. Boston, as we're talking about it, they have now taken a lead against the Toronto Blue Jays, which you hate to see. Bottom of the 8th, 7-6. That sucks.
Connor Wong with his second homer.
Going on.
The second homer of the game? This is the second homer of the game. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Great. One more sort of item on the Yankees. Harrison Bader did return today. So if you're the Yankees and you're looking for positive signs, that is one of them. You get Harrison Bader back. Listen, Aaron Hicks should get 0 at-bats for the New York Yankees moving forward. He cannot hit the ball. He's a waste of time. He is not making that much money where you have to put him out there. He's hurting the team. So I think Aaron Hicks is a problem, and he's getting more run than he should. And, I guess maybe you need him now. But listen, at the end of the day, when you're counting on Willie Calhoun, when you're counting on your rookies to step up and be key components to your lineup, you're just going to be in a bad spot. And that's where the Yankees are right now. They need Volpe to season up and act like he's in his second or third season, just magically level up. They need Peraza to level up. And listen, Oswaldo Cabrera can't hit. I'm sorry, people. There were people that wanted to ride the Oswaldo Cabrera train and say, no, he's good. He's good. No, he's not. He's just not. What do we have? We have Oswaldo Cabrera right now is hitting 17. He's 17 for 88 with a 193 batting average. And he wasn't good last year either. That's who he is, folks. At this point, that's who Oswaldo Cabrera is. And if you're holding out hope for something else, then
I mean, how can you expect rookies to come up and just be really good baseball players right away? We've seen it for years. I mean, a prime example, we're facing the Boston Red Sox right now. Yeah. Jared Duran, is this the year where he breaks out? Took him a while, right? It took him a while. Even Vladimir Guerrero Jr., when he came up, he was good. He was okay. Wasn't the high level that we expected. It took him about 2 seasons to get into MVP, into elite form, Vlad. So to ask someone like Peraza and Volpe to come out of the gate and be an impact bat with Aaron Judge and stand up there, that's a lot to ask. So you're gonna go through these Yankee troubles and these growing pains as a team when you're competitive.
I agree, man. And I mean, the Yankees, they have some work to do for sure. Weather the storm, guys. A team that has been weathering their storm and also dealing with a crap load of injuries has been the Philadelphia Phillies, but they get a massive, and I mean massive, boost today with an actual MVP candidate returning to their team in, frankly, a miraculous fashion. Bryce Harper, Tommy John surgery, left, not even that long ago, right? Literally not even that long ago.
160 days after,
That is some machine level shit right there, boys. That is some Terminator level. You just gotta want it more. Right. I am so hats off to Bryce Harper for being able to recover that quickly. And I mean the trainers and the whatever, the conditioning, everything. That is phenomenal, man. And I feel like this is gonna be the catalyst for these Philadelphia Phillies who've been doing their best to get by without their star player. This is their guy. This is their identity. They've been doing their best to just, again, weather that storm. Yeah. This should be the catalyst for them to set off the dynamite and really kick that team into high gear.
Yeah, and they're coming off a good week last week. 2 out of 3 from, I believe it was Seattle, 2 out of 3 in Houston, the big hyped up World Series rematch. So you had a great weekend. Philly was coming out of last night. I believe they scuffled in LA, but you get Bryce Harper back. They did. They got beat up bad by the Dodgers last night. But listen, it's a game. You got a whole series. And tonight's the night. Bryce is back, and that is big. Like you said, you've had performances from Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott in year 2 is stepping up. Alec Boehm in year 3 has stepped up. That's what we're talking about. Yankee fans, you need that year 2. You need that year 3. For these guys. You can't count on them in year 1. So you've got Boehm and Stott have stepped up. Castellanos is actually hitting for an average right now. So what does that say? People that want to throw batting average under the bus, it just tells you that he's hitting with regularity. Okay. That's what we like. I like a guy that can get a hit 1 out of every 3 times versus 1 out of every 5. So you like what Nick Castellanos is doing there. And again, you're going to add in Bryce Harper to that lineup with those guys. And the pitching, that has been what has really let Philadelphia down to this point, in my opinion, because you've had some guys step up, is that the pitching has been poor. There's no other way to put it. Aaron Nola had a terrible start to the season. Zach Wheeler was having trouble with the clock, but the last 2 times out, they both pitched well. And the last time out was against Houston, and they shut them down. Houston scored 1 run in each of those games that Nola and Wheeler started. So if that pitching is coming around, it's a great time for Bryce Harper to come back because it feels like there's momentum. Bryce Harper doesn't have to come back and feel like he has to save the season anymore. Bryce Harper is just going to come back. The momentum is there. Just keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah, and the pitching I feel like is going to come around. I really do like their staff. I mean, we saw it last year. It was good enough to bring him to the World Series.
Yeah.
And the offense, it feels almost better than last year, even though they still, I believe they are still missing Hoskins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yes.
They're still missing Hoskins. But like you said, lots of guys are stepping up that actually weren't there, like that high offensive player, that caliber last year. So I think the momentum will shift. I mean, I think it's just in April. I mean, we're going to talk about, like, what did we learn in April a little bit later. I know, Jim, you brought that up. But what a little sneak preview is this isn't the full season. This is just a month. Just like I know we're all excited. And we look at this month and we have baseball here and we can really look at all the storylines. But Phillies are Phillies. They're going to be there. They're going to be there in the wild card race at the end of the year. And Bryce Harper's going to be a part of that.
And they're still waiting for Trey Turner to really turn it on.
Yeah.
Trey Turner's got an OPS under 700, which is I don't even need to look at that. I know that's an OPS below 100. That's got to be the way this season has been unfolding. And only 4 steals. Trey Turner's obviously still getting used to Philadelphia. That's all I can say. I don't know that coaching staff, how they handle things, and how he's still getting used to it, because this is not the Trey Turner that they brought in. This is not the Trey Turner we saw in the WBC. He's gonna turn it on, and when he does, that's gonna be an amazing month. Philly probably has. Typically in a season, you'll have somewhere around 24, 25, or 26 games in a month. I'm telling you, Philly's going to have a month where they win 20 games.
Absolutely.
I think you got a 20-5 stretch in you when Bryce Harper's back, when Trey Turner's cranking. If Stott and Bohm and Marsh continue to do what they've been doing, I feel like you have a run. I do think the Phillies have a run. This will be interesting because the Mets need to get there. The Mets need to play a baseball game. The Mets keep getting rained out. They got rained out again today. They got rained out again.
Like fantasy lineups, bro.
Yeah, it's killing fantasy. It's killing the Mets. They're gonna have a ton of games to make up. But they need to certainly pull it together. They're supposed to get Scherzer and Verlander back, which would be big for them. They need it. They need a boost. The Braves are cranking. The Braves are top 3 team in Major League Baseball right now. They're rolling. Their pitching has been excellent. The Phillies, this is the time for them to make a run, and they could certainly use that. Yeah,
they definitely do. And we just also got a little update here on this Blue Jays game. It just ended with a double play. Blue Jays dropped the first 2 games of this series. Boston wins 7-6 in a game where the Jays looked like they were going to make a mid-game comeback.
Yeah,
with the Varsho bomb, or a little pull bomb actually. It's a lefty. Right. It's that deep part of the ballpark, but they lose. Now they drop to, what is it now? 18-12.
18-12.
Yes.
18-12? It will be 18-12. It will be 18-12. Yeah, and I mean that also, like, you hate to lose games against people in your division. And frankly, like, I really hate, even more than some of the other teams, I hate to lose games to Boston, because in really, my preseason opinion, Boston shouldn't be here. I don't want them to be part of any race of any kind. And yes, it is still, May now, early May. So who knows how their season's going to go, right? But if everyone stayed on pace for what they're doing right now, if everybody stayed on pace, they would be in that conversation. And I hate that for us. I hate that for the Blue Jays. And I hate that they have the capability to beat us. That sucks.
They're tough. They're a tough team. I've been sort of the last few days saying they are at least a tough team. I don't know if they are a good team. I don't know if I believe the pitching. I know Chris Sale finally had a good outing the other day, but it was finally a good outing. He had been roughed up pretty much every time out before this. I don't know if Boston's good. They might be good. I know they are at the very least tough. We were going through the offseason. I can't remember if you and I talked about it, you guys and I talked about it, but I said that Boston, the narrative, everybody was going too far in one direction, that Boston's going to be bad this year. And just was like, wait, hold on a minute. That's not a good sign. If everyone's going in that direction, this just feels like Boston's going to be a 500 team. I think I might have even taken the over-under on that, because it was pretty low. It was like 80 or 79 or something.
I think
bad.
it was a 70 number.
It was starting to get disrespectful for sure.
It was.
And
it was.
I think honestly, like both of us here, we were kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit about Boston sucking. And I mean, speaking for myself at least, it's because I wanted it to be true.
That's the only reason. I
wanted it to be true because what I was also doing was I was believing that Baltimore was going to be good, which they are.
They are.
So in my brain, I was like, well, we can't have 5 good teams in the same division. I was like, one of them needs to suck.
I think we're going to see a
Apparently
really weird, and this might be actually a little bit of a teaser. I keep teasing your whole April thing, Jim. Maybe we'll even just get going with it right now. But one thing that I learned in April is the divisions are going to swing so heavily because of the new schedule. You're going to see the AL East in particular be a massive ground for W's. Because we're talking about Boston, which I still think is the worst team in this division. They're going to be at 500, if not above 500 this season, I think. Baltimore is going to be above 500. Rays are going to be potentially winning the division. Jays should be winning the division or winning wild card. Yankees should. They're playing at their worst, but they should be in wild card race. You arguably have 4 to 5 teams in playoff contention in the entire division, and they're able to because of these new these new schedules that you're seeing in April. Like you're seeing the other divisions in the complete opposite direction. You look at the AL Central. Holy crap, are they as a whole division that bad, bro? Mm-hmm. So that's what I've noticed. That's my big takeaway. Crazy divisions.
I agree, man. I think that the division thing is absolutely nuts, and maybe you're finally noticing, like everyone around baseball, like what a difference it is. And competition, and this is something that's important. Competition breeds competition. Competition breeds competition. There's a team. This is kind of a metaphor, I guess, but for what's happening right now. There's for those soccer fans out there, Paris Saint-Germain. They're a French team. They have all the money in the world. They buy the elites. They got Messi. They got a bunch of people on their team, tons of guys, like literally the best players in the world. They annihilate in their league every year because they're so much better than everybody's. They annihilate in their league. But when they play other competitive teams, they struggle.
Yep. And
it's because they're not used to playing other competitive teams. They're just used to walking through. They're not faced with adversity, even though, their team is so stacked, right? And you could make the same argument for what's going on around here, right? It's like these teams, Baltimore, they have been bred in the dark. Exactly. It has been hard.
They've had to beat the AL East, Tigers out there, those animals of the AL East. Whereas when you look over at the Central, and you got the White Sox, who are so used to just like rolling over before the last couple seasons. We'll play the Royals.
It's a different animal now, man. You need to be ready to compete at a different level. And these AL East teams are bred for war. They are bred for this battleground.
Yeah, it's wild to think the Yankees are in last place right now, 16-15. That is after. That is updated. If they had lost to Cleveland tonight, they would have fallen below 500. But you have all 5 teams above 500. We saw this last year in the National League West, where everybody was above 500, and we were a month and a half into the season.
Yeah.
But this just feels like who's going to fall off? Like the Rays are not. The Rays are a great baseball team. The Orioles are. I thought this would be a speed bump season for them, where everybody would be on the Orioles bandwagon, 90-win team. Here we go, push for playoffs. But just you'd see some sophomore slumps. You'd see some of the rookies come up and not take off. I mean, we're dealing with a Gunnar Henderson slow start, but they're weathering that just fine. And the pitching has not been that great, but again, they're weathering that storm just fine. And they're 19-9. You've got the Blue Jays are going to be, again, in conversation for the division, I would think. I think Tampa should come back to the pack. Boston is going to be tough. Boston's not bad. The Yankees, it's crazy to think that this is a situation, this division, and then like you said, you talk about the Central. The Central's in bad shape. It's going to be amazing. like good point on what we learned from April, that the new schedule, you still play your division opponents more than anybody else, but you don't play them as much, and you get to play everybody. So let's say Toronto was in a situation where, we don't get to play Cincinnati this year. We don't get to play Washington. We don't get to play Colorado. Well, that's not fair. Well, that's not going to happen. They're going to get to play them.
The war difference of those teams versus Yankees, Rays, Orioles, right?
Right. Exactly. So one of the other things I learned is that the new rules are awesome. And that is something that I learned from the month. The new rules are incredible. The pitch clock, the game. These games have actually gone a little bit longer, right? We've been starting at 7 and going to 10 o'clock. We went to 10 o'clock last night. We went to 10 to 10 tonight. So these Boston games are taking a little bit longer.
With all the offense, that's why.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But we're seeing the games shorter. I for the first time, I didn't realize it. Like, games were getting done, and it was like 9:20, 9:30, and I was like, well, it's not 10 o'clock yet. Like, I could do something else. Like,
yes.
I
your life, Jim.
Exactly. So I like that. I like the bigger bases. I like that stolen bases are up. We are going to see somebody steal 80 bases. That is a given. Ronald Acuna Jr., as long as he stays healthy, is on track to do that. Ji-Hwan Bae from the Pirates is on track to steal 60. So we're going to see some incredible stolen base numbers. The pitch clock has helped things out. I like the new rules. I like that the shift is gone. I like that offense is up, batting averages are up, runs are up, scoring is up. I really like where baseball is right now, and there's just some great things happening, and I think the rules should get a lot of credit for that.
It's more enjoyable. Just to compliment what you just said, not take it away. It is just a more enjoyable game to watch.
Yeah,
100%.
No, I completely agree, man. I was telling some people at work about that exact thing today. Literally talk like your exact monologue, like recited about 6 hours prior by me, 2 people saying, watch baseball because it's better now. It's better than it was before.
100%. 100%.
Give me another one. Give me another one. You guys, give me something else you guys learned from April, either player wise, team wise.
I'll say this then. I was holding on this one. I wasn't even know if I was going to say this or not, but money doesn't matter. And and take that, take that with a grain of salt. But money, or at least it doesn't matter as much as we think it matters.
Right.
Because you look at some of these teams out here that are kicking butt. You got the Rays, you got the Orioles, you have in the National League, you got the Pirates, the Brewers, even the Diamondbacks are doing well. There are so many teams out here that are just exceeding expectations, because the expectations that were put on them were based on their salary cap. And really what it's come down to is, clearly the coaching has figured something out with the players that they have. And the team has bonded together in a way that we wouldn't have expected because they're not getting paid, $150 million or plus. So money doesn't matter as much as the media says that it matters, is what I've learned in April so far.
Okay. I learned that maybe Tony La Russa wasn't as bad of a manager as we all thought.
Right?
Because somehow the White Sox got worse.
How are they this bad? How are they this bad, man?
I really don't understand.
Are they winning tonight? They went into extra innings. That game looks like it's over, and they won. Hey, congratulations. The White Sox, I believe that's a winning streak. I believe that is a 2-game winning streak, and I cannot back this up without any statistical proof, but the first time this year, 2 games in a row for the White Sox. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like that's true because this team's been just that bad. And I know Eloy was out for a little bit. Tim Anderson is out right now. But if Tim Anderson was there, he would be stranded on second base because this team just has been that bad hitting, that bad pitching. Luis Robert, I guess, has just given up. I mean, he dogging it to first base.
Yeah.
He's been on this terrible run. Just this team Will they? What I learned is that the White Sox will be another thing I learned about the White Sox. They will be sellers in a couple of months.
Yes, they will. I was like just talking about that. I mean, one guy that I threw it out there in a video, and I really hope he gets sold, especially to the Blue Jays. Liam Hendricks. I know this guy just literally fought for his mother effing life, recently. And the last thing that I want this man is to go back and be fighting for his life on the diamond right now, fighting for his career. It's like they got to send him away. He needs a new home. He needs someone to take care of him. I want that to be the Blue Jays.
Nothing will motivate you more than a fucking near-death experience, This guy's going to come out fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to go.
He's going to see it for what it is and say, I do not want to be on this team. My best hitter won't even run to first base.
Literally.
We got to get out of here.
Literally.
Terrible. Really bad. Let me lob it back over to you guys. Something else from the month of April. Again, you took away team or player or just general narrative.
Javier Baez is as bad as we all thought.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that one is self-explanatory, but yeah, that's a rough one. That's a rough one there.
You would think there'd be some motivation because he could get out of Detroit. If he plays well enough, they might trade him. But I mean, because he can't have a shitty season and then opt out of his contract because nobody's going to sign him. He needs to have a good season so he can opt out of his contract and get out of there.
Dude, he got paid $100 million, and he said, "I'm good.
I'm good now.
I'm good."
I mean, it happens. You see it happen every now and then, but that's just one of those cases. I'll give one very specific for the Jays fans in here. There's something that I've realized just watching Jays game is I think Bo Bichette's the best hitter in baseball.
Whoa, Luis Arraez?
Okay, I haven't seen Luis Arraez hit. I'm biased. I'm obviously
I like where you're going. I like where you're going. Best hitter in the American League at the very least.
I'll say that. Yeah.
Okay.
He is just when you watch his at-bats, the way he has the ability to hit the inside pitch the other way, stay on all fastballs, breaking balls. It doesn't matter. He stays on all inside pitches. And then having now this year the recognition to limit his chase with the slider away. That was a big Achilles heel from last year. Doesn't do it this year. And even if he does expand a bit on the outside corner, not only is he able to protect the inside part of the plate with the same approach, but also be able to poke the outside breaking balls or breaking away from his barrel, flip it into right field for a base hit. It doesn't matter. Like, for me, watching him has been such a blessing for the month of April. That I'm convinced he is the best hitter in baseball. Now, Luis Arraez is obviously amazing. He's hitting like 433 or something right now. Ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
But for me, I'm biased. Best hitter in baseball. Love Bo Bichette this year.
I never used to buy in. Neither of us ever used to buy into Bo Bichette's approach of swinging at everything, literally firing everything, just trigger happy like crazy. But I have bought in. I have bought in. I am all in on what he does because the results don't lie. Literally, this is what's insane. This is what is insane, everybody. On an 0-2 count, his batting average is still almost 300.
Yeah.
Impressive.
It truly, because before we'd be like, oh, he's falling behind all the time. So when he was struggling, you could point it at, oh, well, you're falling behind 0-2 a lot.
It doesn't matter.
But now it doesn't matter. Straight up, I don't get nervous when it's 0-2 and Bo Bichette.
In fact, I like it better.
I might actually like it better because he drops the leg kick, it goes to the toe tap, and he's already in a full stride, and he puts the barrel on everything.
We should just start him 0-2.
You know, they do that in some softball leagues to speed things up. They start with an extra strike in there. Maybe we can fire that up for Bo.
Like, you know what? Just start him 0-2.
Go ahead.
It'll work out. It will work out.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this about the Luis Arraez thing. Luis Arraez is really good. He's a singles hitter. Bo Bichette has 7 home runs already. Luis Arraez probably will not hit 7 home runs all season. So Luis Arraez, this is another thing I learned from April. I feel like somebody's going to, we're going to see a sort of a landmark record whether it's 100 stolen bases, something we haven't seen in a long time. Someone's going to push 100. I feel like if Ronald Acuna Jr. gets even close and he thinks he can do it, he's the kind of guy that might push, try to get there. If he's on pace for 80, he might say, well, let me just try to get 2 more in every month the next couple months. Let's see how close I can get in the last week. And if I'm 10 away the last week, I'm going for it. You see Acuna doing that. Can also see, again, I'm still hesitant to say. I keep bringing it up because obviously I want this to happen. I can see somebody pushing 400 or flirting with it. And Luis Arraez would be my guy. However, your argument about Bo Bichette being the best hitter, if Luis Arraez is going to hit 400 with 4 home runs, he's on. I don't want to add any counting stats because then you're really looking at the team around him. So let's just see what he can control. Let's say Luis Arraez hits 390 with 4 home runs. I would rather have Bo Bichette hitting what's he hitting right now? 339. If he can carry that and push 30 homers, I'd take Bo Bichette over Luis Arraez every day of the week.
Because he's also going to have like 30, 40 doubles in there as well.
Right.
He's an extra base machine. So
he is.
Yeah, I would take that. That would be overall like my favorite stat is OPS because it shows me what I want in a hitter. I want power. I want on base.
Now here's the thing. Luis Arraez still has Bichette beat in OPS.
I figured so.
And that is just because Luis Arraez is just stacking those singles on top of one another. It's just like it's a barrage of 6 extra base hits for Luis Arraez so far. And then 34 singles. So
nuts.
So that for that reason, because he's stacking all those singles, he still has an OPS over 1,000, and Bo's hanging out at a pithy 925. Only 9. Come on, Bo. What are you doing? So sad. No, I mean it's a good point. Bo, Luis, Acuna, Chapman, those are 4 of the best hitters in the game right now. It's amazing that Matt Chapman, dude. I learned that Matt Chapman is a good effing hitter, and it looked like he wasn't. A lot of people wanted to put it on the hip. Ed Sprague, Blue Jays, we all remember Ed Sprague, who was the hitting coach or strength and conditioning coach in Oakland, said that Matt Chapman's issue was not the hip, it was his timing. His timing is really good right now.
And he changed his whole stride. He doesn't do the leg pickup anymore. He already starts on the ground, just does a little toe tap. Kind of like what more tame version of what Vladdy does.
Right. And that's working out across the board. Jorge Mateo is doing that in Baltimore. And
the toe tap's the way. Great. The toe tap is the way.
You've got exactly. You got coaches at a young age drilling kids into like pick that knee up and step forward and just tap the toe. Tap the toe, buddy. Tap the toe, make contact.
That's what matters. Like, yeah, sure. Like the leg might get you a bit more power, but like these are athletes that have raw power naturally and through strength and conditioning, like they will get their homers, they'll get their doubles, they'll get their extra base hits, but can they hit for a high average and continuously put the barrel to the ball? You can't really do that as much with a big high leg kick. The toe tap's the way. I'm a fan of it. I'm going to teach my kids that one day. Shout out children if you're watching.
So there you go, guys. That's what we learned from April. Toe tap is the way.
Toe tap, don't mess around.
Let us know. What did you learn from April? What are you expecting to see moving forward? The notes on Aaron Judge, the notes on the Blue Jays, the notes on Bryce Harper. We want to know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Jimmy, any final thoughts for that damn baseball show?
I just want to thank everybody for coming in and spending time with us and hanging out on a Tuesday night, whether you're with us here live or catch the replay after the fact. Always remember, if you miss us live, you can always rewatch. And those of you that are on my side of things, make sure to hit that like and support both channels. It is an effort here that you guys help drive, those of you that are watching. Hitting that like, hopping over to the other channel, hitting that like, you help drive both channels. You are literally the engines that move this thing. So we appreciate the support that alone gives us. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time on That Damn Baseball Show. Have a good night, everybody.